Good Sunday morning to you all. We got another Watchmen update. We're going to be covering things that the mainstream media will not cover and you won't hear there. We're going to be talking about Georgia hospitals packed full of people being turned away from the hospitals. We got a silent genocide happening in the Congo with Christians being martyred. We got Blood Moon rising on March 15th. That sounds like a date that's already familiar because we got another thing happening right then too. English as the official language in the United States being selected. We got Belarus preparing for World War III. We got more issues being reported by the Watchmen out there at post offices, and some of these will just blow your mind. It's absolutely insane. We have a Watchman sharing how to negotiate larger payouts from home insurance companies if you have a disaster strike your home, how to negotiate and how to bargain hard on that. And also I will be sharing about kind of where I've been, what I've been doing. I'm going to be back in the States later today, so I'll be there before you know it. And I'm going to give you kind of an update on kind of why I was traveling, what was going on and that kind of stuff. A little bit of a personal update. I'll put that at the end of the video. All right, without further ado, let's get right into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in. So make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment if that is something to be shared with the group, and appreciate all of you participating in that. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They make these videos possible, and they make they really believe in what we're doing here in keeping us informed and creating an alternate to the mainstream media. If you have an IRA or 401k and you want to get into physical metals, Jonathan and his team would love to talk with you and can answer your questions and see if it's a good fit for you. There'll be a link at the end of the video. Let's start here because this one is the most disturbing. There is a silent genocide happening in the Congo as the persecution of Christians ramps up. The Congo has always been chaotic. As long as I can remember. Some of you guys may remember back when it was stable, but for as long as I can remember, it's always been kind of this black hole in the middle of Africa where civilization just kind of failed to take hold. It's just always been a civil war, always unrest. Well, ISIS is gaining a foothold there. The group ADF, which is allied with ISIS, rounded up Christians from their homes and took them to the church where they were then butchered. 70 Christians were found last Thursday in their church. Absolutely horrific, and we're seeing more of these incidents cropping up as ISIS takes hold there in that power vacuum. We're also seeing other things like Ebola and other diseases coming up out of that as well, some of which have not yet been identified but have been shown to be very deadly. Kali says there is a blood moon eclipse on March 15th, 2025, and that is the same date that the government is going to be shutting down. Wow. So I'm still not sure I'm fully clued into astrological events and correlating to events on Earth. I've definitely read papers and stuff like that comparing events and astrological signs and stuff like that, and kind of like, maybe, but how much of that's just random chance, how much that's real? Let me know down in the comments whether you believe things like blood moons and stuff like that really do correlate to big events on Earth. Boxes of papers taken from Mar-a-Lago by the FBI have now been returned to President Trump. Awkward. Indeed, awkward. President Trump also about to order that English be used across the entire federal government because it's the official language of the United States, which takes back something that President Clinton did during his presidency. By executive order, he ordered that the government agencies had to accommodate people of different languages. President Trump will remove that accommodation requirement, will allow government agencies to accommodate if they choose to do so, but not to force them to accommodate. The United States has terminated its support for repairing and rebuilding Ukraine's energy grid. Now, this happened before the whole spat on Friday between President Trump and President Zelensky, but let's just say things are definitely moving in that direction where the United States has already started to order a halt to shipments to Ukraine of weapons. This needs to be resolved soon if Ukraine is going to be hanging on, because I don't know, will Europe be able to pick up the slack? They haven't been able to pick up the slack yet in NATO, so I don't know. Big news out there on a name that you've probably heard of, Skype. Microsoft is about to retire Skype. So if you have information, teams, groups, contact information in Skype, you might want to start getting that information off, because I'm not sure exactly how they'll retire Skype, but you need to be aware of that. I don't understand that. That seems like a really bad move to me, because I don't know, for maybe just a few of us, Skype means a voice call. And when you have, when you own the name of a brand that is synonymous with what its product is, it seems like a really bad idea to retire it. But you know, Microsoft has not been known to make the best of products, and it hasn't been known to make the best of decisions either. So we'll see how that goes. Yo Daddy says Belarus has begun exercises involving large-scale redeployment of soldiers and equipment. Belarus launches combat readiness checks of its armed forces with mobilization of reservists and mobilization of equipment from the, it says enterprises, but this is happening as Poland has announced they will begin to convert all civilian airports to be capable for military use in case war breaks out. Now, Belarus is sort of like North Korea in the sense that its military might is mostly a paper tiger. Belarus is not a serious contender. It's not a serious first world military power. And it will be able to assist Russia in some things, but it's not like it can really do much of its own. Could they invade Lithuania or Latvia? They probably couldn't even succeed at that. Let's just be honest. The Belarusian military is not a serious force. They certainly could get into an extended, protracted war. They could take a very long time to lose the war, but they would have a very hard time winning against a NATO modern military, especially with modern support from other places like the United States. People who have aircraft and such that would be able to give air support and air supremacy. Belarus would not be able to gain air supremacy or even deny air supremacy to NATO forces. So hard to imagine them really doing much on their own. And Russia is, well, let's just say Russia's busy. Gail says, hospital in Carlson, Georgia, has used curtains in all of its ER hallways to make more rooms. They are packed. We see these flus and the cold and the cough going around. People are just sick, really sick, and they're going to the hospitals in droves, and it's overwhelming the hospitals right now. Now, hospitals have contingency plans to expand their capabilities when it comes to rooms and overflow, but they have a hard time surging doctors and nurses. So even though they'll have a place or a gurney for you or a place for you, doesn't mean that you're going to be getting the medical care that you need. She Can Homestead says, update, I'm in North Georgia. I mailed a letter one day at the local post office. There were 2 slots, one labeled out of town and another one labeled local. I asked what was considered local, several small towns, or just this post office. She said, oh, it doesn't matter. Everything falls into the same bin. Everything gets sent to Atlanta. That's from years ago when we used to sort the local mail separately. So that tells me that the post offices used to keep local mail to handle locally, which we all know that's how they handled it. I don't understand why they can't do that. Now, I have a friend who faithfully sends out Christmas cards the day after Thanksgiving. I got mine the beginning of February. I've heard that Atlanta is the worst distribution center in America. Now I'm thinking they're all messed up. Rebel says, update. 2 weeks ago, I got 18 eggs at $8.99. Yesterday, they were $13.99. It's up a little bit, isn't it? 1 pound of deli ham, $8.99, and a pound of American cheese, $7.89. Unbelievable. This is in Northeast Pennsylvania. Bradley says, all the hospitals are way understaffed. All the good nurses and docs left after C-19. I know a travel nurse. She talks all the time about how overworked she is and the lack of other American nurses on the job. Don't kid yourselves, y'all. C-19 protocols caused the nurses and doctors to quit, or many of them did, right? By the travel nurses' own words, 2 years ago, over 2 million nurses quit. What are we supposed to do? And I've heard from nurses and doctors and such, particularly nurses. One of the things that's really toxic out there is that these hospitals won't increase the wages of nurses, and they won't improve, like, having time off for the nurses, but yet then they'll pay a whole bunch of money for traveling nurses to come in, and they're being paid a lot higher than the local nurses are. And you can just imagine how you'd be if you're staying at your local hospital, and then the hospital's paying someone a lot more money to come in and do the same work you're doing from outside the area. Does that seem fair to you? Or would you start thinking, gee, maybe I should become a traveling nurse too, and go to wherever that nurse just came from and work at that hospital for a lot more money too? A lot of people are thinking along those lines, or they're just saying, this is stupid, this is a bad system, I'm being treated unfairly, I'm going to quit. All of that and more is happening out there. Billy says, update, I was trimming some palm trees and one of the palm fronds fell. I was wearing gloves, still something poked me in my thumb. I monitored it and tried to see if there was something in there, couldn't get anything out. I left it alone for 3 whole weeks, but still was not healing and it was hurting very bad. I went to the ER. They did everything they could, which was they looked at it, cleaned it with antiseptic, and put a Band-Aid on. Pretty high tech. And they couldn't find anything in my thumb. 3 days later, however, in the shower, a 3/4 inch thorn popped out. Ouch. I paid $350 deductible, then got a bill for $5,375 from the ER. Once again, look at it, clean it with antiseptic, and put a Band-Aid on it. $5,300. That's bad. Wait for it. Shannon in South Carolina. 2-mile ambulance ride for our son from his college to the ER. $745. The hospital charges have not even come in yet. As an aside, it was an emergency. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully he is doing well. BWM says, update Texas. Last week I discovered that a $12,800 check that my company had mailed to New York had been stolen. The intended recipient in New York told me that checks get intercepted and whitewashed very frequently up there. What really disturbed me is that he thinks that the people stealing the checks are postal workers. Now, sorry to any postal workers out there, just repeating what the businessman in New York told me. How do you protect yourself when the people supposed to be protecting the mail are the ones actually stealing the mail? Lisa says, we are dealing with our insurance on roof damage. Luckily, we can wait them out. Please tell your viewers to never accept those crappy checks. That says you accept the amount as full payment. Wait it out until a yearly audit if you can. Those outstanding checks look really bad. It brings them back to the table and willing to pay in good faith. So I haven't tried that. I don't know if that's true. But you're saying that's true. Is anyone else aware of that, the inner workings of the insurance companies? Is that really a thing? Let us know down in the comments down below. Make sure you use the word update on that one. Let's hear about that, because I know a lot of people have been in a situation or will be in a situation where their homes get damaged enough that they need insurance. She Can Homestead, once again, sharing this. North Georgia mountains. Got my chicks today. Got 6 ISA browns. I was running errands. Decided to do this first. My store got 25 this morning. I got there right after they came in. 2 people in front of me got a few. A lovely gentleman let me go ahead of him. I got my 8. Then he wanted 17 but could only get 10. If I had waited this morning to go later, I would not have gotten them. I can't believe how fast they go. Gone in 20 minutes. Also, they were $9 each, and they used to be about $3 a couple of years ago, $5 last year. Feed, bedding, and all of this more expensive this year. Also, stores are required to take down name, address, and phone number for all chick sales this year. Indeed, they are, and when bird flu comes knocking to a farm or a homestead near you, guess who also comes knocking? Hopefully that's changing with the U.S. Department of Agriculture under the new administration, but that's how it's been. And if you're under a state that is not very free, it may not be the feds that come knocking, it may be local officials that come knocking. And they'll do whatever the heck they want to do because they're the government. And apparently the government exists to oppress the people in the United States. Hopefully we change that in the next few years. But Warren says, hey Steve, we have a handful of laying hens in our backyard in suburban Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I always knew I was getting better quality eggs at a better price than the grocery stores, but this week I tracked their feed consumption versus their egg output for the first time. Our backyard eggs are costing us $1.93 per dozen. And that includes the yearly fee for the city and the fact that egg production is down in the cold weather. So glad we started raising egg layers a few years ago. All right, friends, I am shooting this video in the Philippines, but I will be home before the day is out. Sunday evening, I will be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, back. And I haven't been super transparent about why I've been here. I have been doing some side missions for 21C International to see about possibly setting up some missions projects here in the Philippines. There seems to be some big need for that, and partnering with a local Bible college here looks like it may be a possibility. Also, why I've been here so long has been, I mentioned a long time ago, just very in passing, I didn't mean to mention at that time, that I had a girlfriend for the first time in, we met online, and I was here to go visit her and meet her family and see how things are going, how things would go. We have since broken up. None of your business all, but that is just, things didn't work out as we had hoped, and you know, great, she's great and wonderful, but things didn't work out with that. So I'm heading home with a little bit of a heavy heart, and some of you guys noticed that I looked a little down, whether I was sick or something like that. Well, that's kind of why. It's been a little bit hard on me and my heart. So this is just letting you know kind of what's going on with me. I'll be back in the U.S. Shortly and be catching up on a whole bunch of stuff. We got some exciting things developing here on this channel, and I can't wait to share some of those things with you, and hopefully that will make some of these things move a little more smoothly. All right, friends, if you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there on the screen. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of The Poplar Report, out.